1018. That's the magic number, everyone. 1018. I wanted to hit 5,000 subscribers before 2013 was over, and we are now setting at 1018, and I will do just that. Subscribers, we're 26 now, so I got at least 25, so hopefully everyone that just joined me, hello and welcome, and hopefully you enjoy the ride. Now, had some interesting things happen this week, and we actually got done watching Oblivion last night, and it's not very good. No, it's not good at all. Everything is really awesome looking. I like the futuristic look of everything. I like the fact that Melissa Leo speaks to us through the droid logo. But, basically, what I'm trying to say is this. It's not a good movie. I mean, overall, Oblivion's not a good movie at all. So, I mean, that's basically how you look at it. And, yeah, I was right. Awesome. I thought I was correct on that. So, AJ is still on the mission to watch 1,000 movies theatrically this year. Well, get to 1,000 movies theatrically this year. Basically meaning that he is going to have to go to the theater quite a bit. And it does help that his best friend, i.e. this guy, works in a movie theater. So, this is going to be very easily attainable. Unfortunately, this also means that we have to watch some things that I don't really want to watch. So, because of this factor, today, after I get off work, I have no plans. I'm going to try my best to stay and work, and maybe possibly, will give me a ride home. I don't know. I have to ask him. I'm just guessing, maybe. I guess we'll figure it out when we get there. Or I might have to walk home. I don't know. I don't know what the plans for tonight are. But I do know that because of this mission to get to 1,000 before this calendar year is over, I sigh. We're going to have to watch both Girl Rising and Home Run. Yeah, not looking forward to this at all. Not one bit. The last time we watched a movie kind of like Home Run, I mean, it's not the same type of movie. Well, okay, it's the same type of movie, obviously. But it's not the same kind of movie at all. The storyline's completely different. It was Last Ounce of Courage, which I thought was one of the funniest movies I saw in 2012. But say what you want about me, it's just how I saw it. And I had to stifle my laughter during the entire movie, and I felt like I was hyperventilating because I laughed so hard as the credits were rolling when I saw it was a film that was basically endorsed by Chuck Norris and his massive fist. So, there's always that. I'm not looking forward to that at all. So Sunday, that is now going to be the plan, and Sunday night, of course, is Celebrity Apprentice, and it looks like it's going to be Brandy as the PM, and I still don't know if it's going to be Penn or Lisa as her opponent. I guess we'll find out on Sunday. And Monday, of course, Raw will be live in London, England. Wow, I don't know how I messed that up. London, England will host Raw, and of course that will be the return of The Undertaker to Monday Night Raw, and it was The Undertaker, Kane, and Daniel Bryan taking on The Shield in the main event of the show. So, will you get The Undertaker on Raw, but you get The Undertaker on Raw the week before you need him on Raw? Sorry about that. I still hold out hope that we're going to get something big on our Raw in Columbus. So once again, if he watches this, I don't think he does, but if he does, I still want it to be known that I thank you, Alan, for taking Will and I to Raw, and hopefully you will have a good time, just like we will, at Nationwide Arena in 1 week from this Monday. So, today my mom was in town. Actually, she just went to bed. She has to get up early tomorrow, and she has, I think, a 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. flight to El Paso, and then she'll be driving to Santa Cruz, New Mexico. So she'll be gone for the next 2 weeks, so we went to the grocery store today and got some new things. And I know you people love it when I talk about me buying groceries. But anyway, Got some cool things. I have some new sodas, like I said. So I don't want to bore you guys with any of my minutia. I want to break down why we're here today, and let's talk Smackdown. Smackdown was last night, and it wasn't bad. It was a decent show. Really awesome and long match between Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger on the show. And obviously there was also a champion versus champion match with Kofi Kingston taking on Wade Barrett. So that was really good. And also, there's a lot of things, but let's go just dive right into it. So we're in the home of Regal Entertainment Group last night, Knoxville, Tennessee. Of course, this was shot Tuesday night after Raw in Greenville, South Carolina. And of course, apparently Greenville, South Carolina was where my mother was, so I did not know that at the time. And I found out that the company that she works for actually supplied the help, the ring crew, if you will, for Monday Night's Raw. So that's kind of cool. And we're in Knoxville, and we start the show off with the concubine, and we know what that means. The sleazy strip club entrance and the greatest theme song in the history of man, Fandango, is going to open the show. And he comes to the ring, dancing with his concubine, like you do. And she gets out of the ring, and Fandango turns his attention to Lillian and says in his best Val Venus impersonation, she's looking quite excellent tonight. He then furthermore asks her if she's ever been dipped before, and ever if she has had to make moves on people before. He furthermore asks Lillian if she has ever fandangoed before. It feels good. It feels real good. So Lillian tries to leave the ring, and Fandango pulls her close, twirls her around, and dips her. So the dance is getting rather sensual in manner until, at the dip, he basically proclaims that that was absolutely terrible, and he drops her on the canvas. He furthermore makes the comment that Lillian is a beautiful woman, but there's nothing beautiful about the way she dances. He says that Lillian is just like each and every one of these people who butcher his name and mock his dance. Well, Fandango, we're going to find out this Monday night on Raw and subsequent SmackDown on Tuesday night just how the UK fans, who started this in the first place, basically, will be with Fandangoing. So, basically, after all of this, Fandango gets to his point and asks Lillian if she can at least pronounce his name correctly. And of course, he shows her the way, and the crowd goes along with it. But he's quickly interrupted by Santino Marella, and he calls him Fandingle, or just Dingle, depending on how you look at it. He says that he has a very insulting way about him. He's a rude person the way he talks to the WWE Universe, and what he just did to Lillian. And he winks at her, and she kind of waves half-heartedly at him. He says that it pains him to admit that Fandango does have some good moves. And he really enjoyed the way that the dance looks pretty fun, and he enjoyed, obviously, the cheerleaders from the Houston Texans doing that dance on YouTube. And he hopes that the WWE Universe doesn't mind if Fandango dance is replicated by Santino, at least his version. So basically, he wants to introduce his dance partner, and it's green, and the first thing that comes to my mind is Hornswoggle, and I'm like, thank God. That's not the case. As quickly, it's revealed as the Cobra. Yeah, the Cobra is his dance partner. So Santino brings out the Cobra and says they're going to do a two-step all over his face. Fandango goes after Santino. He low bridges him and he goes over the top rope to the floor. And the match begins after the commercial break. Now, just a short match, really. And basically, we get to the match. Fandango locks on the cravat, and Santino fights out of it and hits his normal spots. with his kip up and his numerous punches, his hip toss, his falling headbutt. Of course, the split after the punches and the hip toss, then the falling headbutt. That's actually the order. And then he grabs the ropes in true Ultimate Warrior fashion and starts shaking them. But he goes for the Cobra, and he walks right into Fandango. He blocks it and locks up a snap flatliner for the 3 count. I like the fact that they're using both top rope and ground finisher for Fandango, and he can win at both aspects. He can win either in a ground game, or he can win off the top rope with his guillotine leg drop. So I like that. And the crowd was a lot more into Fandango tonight, and definitely was a lot of signs in the crowd, and that was pretty cool to see. So of course after the match, Fandango corrects the pronunciation of his name, and after that we go to Booker's office. He's talking to Teddy Long. He says that the problems are things are different in this administration. Teddy didn't consult with him before making the match between Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger on Monday's Raw. And right at this point, Big Show enters, and he thanks Teddy for giving him a tag team partner tonight, unlike Booker T, who made him go after Randy Orton and Sheamus in a handicap match where he could get injured. So he thanks Teddy personally for looking after the Big Show with the fist pound. So Booker takes off his glasses. He's about to glare at Teddy, and Teddy kind of powders from the office. We see how Kofi Kingston won the long day. Kofi Kingston won the United States Championship from Antonio Cesaro. And basically, now he is flaunting the gold, and he will be in a champion versus champion match against the Intercontinental Champion, Wade Barrett, and it's up next. So, it's a non-title match. And we basically get to the end of the contest as usual. Kofi goes up top, Barrett pulls him off, and he gets a near fall. He hits the elbow, locks in a reverse chin lock. Kofi punches and counters the Winds of Change. He goes for Winds of Change, but basically Barrett holds on, and Kofi's trying to take him over with a crucifix, and he basically just lays out with it and tries to get a pin off of Lag's cover, hooks the leg, and basically Kofi reverses into the crucifix pin, 1, 2, 3, and the match ends. So, decent match for what it was. And after we take a look at what's been going down with Sheamus and Mark Henry in the past few weeks, literally leading up to their feud and subsequent match, most likely at Extreme Rules, we see Mark Henry walking in the back, and Renee Young, or Renee Paquette, depending on how you want to look at it, interviews him quickly and basically asks about the attacks on Sheamus. Mark says he did it because he can, and that is what he do. As usual, as soon as that happens, this time Sheamus is the one to attack. He tackles Mark Henry down, and Sheamus says that's what he do, fella. So, after commercial, we come back, and a video package about the world title picture. We get to our longest match of the evening in a really, really good back-and-forth match. Alberto Del Rio taking on Jack Swagger. And basically, let's go to the end of the match, as usual. So, Swagger goes for the Swagger Bomb for the second time. Del Rio gets the feet up, but Swagger catches him and goes for the Patriot Lock. Del Rio counters with a nice single-arm DDT. He's going for the Jujigatami, but he floats over. Swagger knocks him out to the floor, and Ricardo Rodriguez stands at the feet of his fallen comrade. That's actually what Michael Cole said, specifically, fallen comrade, so Zeb Coulter can interfere. So Del Rio hits the standing side kick while he's on a grounded position. Like, the thing looks devastating every single time. Only gets a 2 count because right at 3, just like I predicted, Swagger grabbed the bottom rope. So Del Rio up to his feet first. Swagger takes him down, goes for the Patriot Lock again. This time Del Rio counters, goes for the Jujigatami, and Swagger pins him for a near fall, and Del Rio ends up reversing him an inside cradle variation for the 3 count. So, good match. Actually, a really good match. I very much enjoyed it. Come back from commercial, and of course we see what happened on Raw, and I've already talked about that with Ryback and John Cena. And after this, we are graced by the presence of the Shield, and that is the face of Dean Ambrose, basically telling us via their camcorder, snapping his fingers so he has everybody's attention. But that was a Raw moment no one is going to forget, especially not the champ. Roman Reigns says you need to forget about the whole "you can't see me" because we can see you just fine, lying flat on your back on the canvas. Seth Rollins says that Ryback was watching him too. People wondered why Ryback didn't help John Cena, but Ryback figured it out, and now because he knows how justice feels. So Dean Ambrose says it was self-preservation. He didn't want to feel justice anymore. The look on Ryback's face was just the same look that he saw on the face of The Undertaker. 2 weeks ago, he looked in Taker's eyes, and all he saw was fear. Sheer, unobliterated fear. Undertaker was afraid of the Shield, and he was absolutely terrified when he was surrounded by the Shield. Undertaker was never so happy to see his brother and his little buddy. Now, Shield is undefeated, just like The Undertaker is. Not just at WrestleMania, but overall, period, the Shield is undefeated, and they will prove it once again on Monday. Rollins says that for 20 years, The Undertaker has ruled this place, but there comes a time for even legends to be pushed aside, and The Undertaker's time is now up. Roman Reigns finishes it, as usual, with that the hounds of justice run this yard now. Believe in the Shield. Oh dear sir, I definitely do. I definitely believe in the Shield. There's going to be one amazing match on Monday night, and we're going to get Ambrose and Bryan going at it in the ring again, and for the first time in a long time, actually, they are finally going to be squaring off. So, I believe it's TLC. I think it was pay-per-view. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's one of the ones I had to miss. So, I think it might have been TLC, where they had their historic match with Hell No and Ryback against the Shield. So that was, it might not have been TLC. I'm actually, you know what, I'm a completist, so I'm going to go ahead and figure it out. The Shield. As you talk amongst yourselves, I'll give you a topic. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I really, really, really like the Shield. And I'm very happy to see them getting such a tremendous push in WWE. I've been a big fan of Seth Rollins. I was a huge Tyler Black fan. I was a big into the Age of the Fall. And I really enjoyed his Ring of Honor stuff. On the contrary, I really like Jon Moxley. And I really enjoyed his CZW stuff. Dean Ambrose is amazing. And I don't really know much about Roman Reigns. I mean, I watched some of Leakey's matches, but they weren't terribly impressive. But he looks like a beast now, and that's pretty awesome. And I think the Shield are very unstoppable, and I like that because it works really well for me. Hell no. And so pretty much, I very much enjoy what they're doing with this, and I hope it continues. I hope, yeah, it's definitely TLC. I was right, sweet. So one of the pay-per-views I had to miss because I was home. But we come back from commercial break. And, oh god, the segment of the week that I absolutely dread talking about. So, apparently earlier today, we find out that Hornswoggle's parking space was taken by Primo Epico and Rosa Mendez. And Rosa asks Natalya if there is a Freaks Only sign for them. So, of course, we get this wonderful matchup between the Oddities, version 2.0, taking on Primo Epico and Rosa Mendez. So, one thing I'll say right now, I've said this a lot lately, especially on Smackdown recaps. Hornswoggle, no, go away. Go away, do not come back. You are not welcome anymore. You're not useful. The fans don't like you. I don't care for you, period. Just get off my screen. Kali, I mean, you're an attraction. You're almost 8 foot tall giant. I really don't see why you have to be on television every week. It's just like Andre. Obviously, you have nothing compared to what Andre the Giant had back in his heyday. But when it all boils down to it, you need to be used as an attraction and not every week on SmackDown doing the same things over and over again. I mean, your finish is basically you pick someone up in the air and just throw them down. Or just drop them, in this case, to be totally honest with this match. And Natty, I'm so happy you're on television. It was nice to see you on television. It's nice to see you're actually getting work on the B shows and the C shows, and even the house shows. But oh my God, get away from this group, please. I don't care. Turn heel at this point. Do something. Bring somebody up from NXT that can work with the oddities, and Natty can go heel, and then she can go after Caitlyn, and then get the Divas Championship back, and maybe get rid of that god-awful butterfly belt and bring back the real Women's Championship. I mean, that would be pretty awesome if that could actually happen. But, of course, I'm just armchair booking now, so that's just how I see things. So, basically, I really don't want to talk about this matchup. Hornswoggle, Natty, and Great Khali won when Epico got hanging tree slammed without the sit-out, the Punjabi plunge. The match is not good. And, Epico and Primo have fallen so far so fast. And it's a shame because there was a point that they were actually legitimate contenders to the tag team titles, but now they're just basically a comedy afterthought. And I really wish Natalya would do something. They do something with Natalya. I mean, obviously they gave her a horrible, horrible gimmick that was wrestle crap worthy, pun intended in this case. And thank God she got out of that. But now she's moved on to being the Punjabi princess. And dear God, just do something with her, please. WWE, I'm begging you. I'm sure the fans of real women's wrestling are begging you. I mean, look what TNA can do with the Knockouts division. I mean, WWE really needs to take notice that their women's division is garbage compared to TNA. And the funny thing is they've got Sarah Del Rey as their NXT trainer. Now, what they need to do is put Sarah Del Rey on television, and then maybe, just maybe, the Divas will follow suit. So, who knows? So, of course, we go back to Raw, as we always do on SmackDown, which I'm pretty sure SmackDown is basically an hour of show, and basically the rest of the hour is Raw. So, 2 hours, one is SmackDown, the other half is Raw. There's no real brand extension anymore. I don't see what they do. There's a lot of Raw recaps. Not like most people didn't already see what happened on Monday night when CM Punk came out, and pretty much, I'll use the internet term, he lost his smile. So we won't see Punk for quite a while. Now, there was a rumor we weren't going to see Punk until sort of SummerSlam, but apparently that's been rectified, and we probably will see Punk for Payback and Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. So Punk will be back a little bit sooner than we expected him to come back, and that's a good thing because it's great that he's getting time off, and he definitely has earned it. He has definitely been the workhorse of the company for over a year now and holding the championship as long as he did. But it's time for him to rest and rest his weary bones. I'll be totally honest on that. And I'm really going to be happy when Punk comes back. But he definitely has earned his much-needed vacation. So chill out with Colt Cabana. Drink Pepsi. Read comic books. And just relax. Because, sir, you have earned it. You have 100% earned it. So we come back from commercial. And we watch Brock Lesnar absolutely obliterate three-man band, leading up to, of course, this Monday night in London. Triple H will announce his answer, yes or no, if he accepts the challenge of Brock Lesnar for a steel cage matchup at Extreme Rules. And I'm pretty positive that's exactly going to happen. Actually, I know it's going to happen. And I think what you do in this match, you have Brock Lesnar just steamroll Triple H, take him out completely. And then, internet rumors, if they're correct, you bring in Batista and you set that match up. Now, I'm pretty sure that Leviathan and Brock Lesnar have met before in OVW. I'm not positive on that. Now, when Leviathan was part of the Disciples of Sin, and, of course, when Brock Lesnar was part of the Minnesota Stretching Crew with Shelton Benjamin, I have a feeling they probably met once or twice in tag team action, but I do not believe there's actually been a singles match between the two. So Batista's got a lot of ring rust. He's not even done indie shows. He's done a lot of movies. And now he's ready to return to WWE. And you know what? I don't have a problem with Batista coming back as long as he's not the Botchatista of old. So Batista and Brock Lesnar, if The Rock cannot do a program or won't do a program, depending on who you believe at this point, with Brock Lesnar, then Batista can surely fill that role and help WWE get us into SummerSlam. So that's what we're looking at this point. So we come back from that commercial break, and of course we get our main event of the evening, which is Sheamus and Randy Orton taking on Mark Henry and The Big Show. Well, basically, Orton ends up hitting the snakebite DDT, and he twists around like he's going to hit the RKO. He goes for it. Mark Henry runs into him like a Mack truck. Sheamus knocks him to the floor, and they both powder out. They both spill out to the outside. Not powder out to the outside. They spill to the outside. Big Show grabs Orton by the throat, choke slam, and cleans the sheet. Big Show and Mark Henry win, and that's SmackDown for this week. So, really strong Alberto Del Rio Jack Swagger match that was in the middle of the show. Worked really well. The continued renewed push for Kofi Kingston when he defeats Wade Barrett, who is the Intercontinental Champion at the time. So it really doesn't hurt Barrett very much, honestly, because it's a champion beating a champion. But even though this match wasn't really announced until we saw the spoilers on the internet, Fandango opens the show, and WWE, you're going to drop the ball with this if you don't stop shoving it down people's throats. Wrestlers work best, storylines work best when it's given time to progress, when it's given time to get the fans acclimated to the product you're trying to get them to love. Now, if you over-push this, it's going to blow up in your face. Kind of like when Jerry Lawler introduced Fandango on Raw Monday night. It didn't really go over very well. But there's a reason for that, because this Fandango craze was basically started at WrestleMania and the subsequent Raw, mainly at the Izod Center in East Rutherford, New Jersey. But on top of that, basically, they just need to leave it alone and just let it grow. I mean, like a plant, just water it occasionally, let it grow. And you can get a lot of mileage out of this. Johnny Curtis is more than a serviceable wrestler. And don't let the you can't wrestle chants fool you. Curtis can go, and I've seen it numerous times. He's not really shown even a third of what he's capable of yet, but I'm pretty sure he will. I mean, the match with Jericho showed a little bit at WrestleMania, but he's not really got a chance to shine against anyone yet. I mean, you put him up against a Daniel Bryan, you put him up against, I don't know, even Justin Gabriel, to be totally honest, and who had an awesome match with Wade Barrett on Main Event this week that I've heard about. I've heard that it was really good, and I could tell by the recap. I'm going to have to check it out sometime. Oh, yeah, by the way, before I get started, NXT, Cassius Ohno against William Regal, one of the most brutal matches I've ever seen in my life, literally trying to break each other's fingers. I cannot put over this match nearly enough, so Ohno hopefully will be coming up to the main roster soon. Apparently he's coming up as well as Bray Wyatt. I don't know if he's bringing Luke Harper with him, the old Brody Lee. I don't know if he's coming up or not. I know that Adrian Neville, which is Pac, the man that gravity forgot. I mean, I know he's coming up soon. And Sami Zayn, El Generico, hopefully will be returning to television in the WWE sooner rather than later. So now that you got the United States Championship off of Antonio Cesaro, I know it's fantasy booking, I know it's armchair booking, but bring back the Kings of Wrestling. I don't know what you call them, but Kings of Wrestling need to come back, and they bring Sarah Del Rey, and you could literally bring the whole stable back together, and it might rejuvenate Cesaro, even though he has been giving a tremendous performance in every single match, whether he was U.S. champion or whether he was a challenger. So props to that, but Vince doesn't like Cesaro, so it's probably not going to happen. I mean, that was Raw for this week, and, wow, long day. That was SmackDown for this week. I don't know why I said that was Raw for this week. Yeah, we're fast-forwarding to Tuesday. So that was SmackDown this week. A decent show. Way too many recaps from Raw. I really wish that SmackDown would just be an entity by itself, and we don't see... I know it's the brand extension, but that pretty much has gone by the wayside, so I wish Raw and SmackDown were its own separate entities. Not necessarily, you can still share talent, but I don't really need a Raw recap on SmackDown and a SmackDown recap on Raw. I mean, that really rarely happens, but still, I mean, it just depends on how important the show is. But that was the show, and hope you like this video, hope you like this recap. A little bit more laid back, and about 30 minutes, so. I'm going to get off here. I gotta get some sleep, and Tomorrow we're going to talk Celebrity Apprentice. And AJ's weekend movie reviews are coming up as well for Oblivion and Mental. And there'll be Girl Rising and Home Run coming up soon. That's all the time we have for now, folks. So if you like these videos, go ahead, leave a comment. Snarky comments will be deleted, like as some people have learned quickly. Thank you to the new subscribers. Thank you to the new viewership. And regardless how you found this site, I'm glad you have, and hopefully you'll stick around with me as we transition from Welcome to My World to Pop starting May 1st. So a lot of cool stuff still to come on this channel. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, you're more than welcome to, at Sir Owen Disney. Follow me on social networking on Facebook at Owen Disney. And until tomorrow, folks, that's all I got to say about that.